This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the morning of Thursday, August 24th, 2023. I'm Kate Sharon. The East Central Indiana Regional Partnership this week launched a new strategic plan it says sets forth a vision for propelling the region's economic growth. The plan outlines strategies that will be implemented over the next 2 to 3 years, with the goal of addressing several challenges faced by the region, including population and employment decline, as well as below-average earnings among residents. President and CEO Trevor Friedberg.
Overall, our vision for East Central Indiana is really to create a thriving and vibrant region where all residents have the opportunity to succeed. And this is done by working together, leveraging our collective strengths and resources, and build a region that's known for its strong economy, excellent quality of life, and that world-renowned Hoosier hospitality.
He also said the region is at an inflection point where improvements can be made. BorgWarner Incorporated, an automotive components supplier, is planning to close one of 2 facilities in Kokomo later this year. The company confirmed to Inside Indiana Business the move will impact about 150 employees at its Morgan Street production plant. The facility, which was acquired by BorgWarner as part of its $3.3 billion acquisition of Delphi Technologies in 2020, produces electronics and power electronics for hybrid vehicles. These layoffs will occur in 2 phases, the first of which will begin in early October, that will impact 84 direct employees. The second phase is slated for mid-2024, but an exact date has not been determined. The Indiana Bar Foundation and Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority are celebrating a milestone in their efforts to make legal resources more accessible. Representatives from both organizations met Wednesday in Lake County to applaud the addition of the state's 150th Indiana Legal Help Kiosk. The kiosks are available in every county and are specifically placed to help assist Hoosiers navigate complex housing issues, including eviction, which in Indiana is a civil matter with no legal representation provided to residents. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
For 25 years, we've had the honor of telling the story of Indiana business. More than 1,300 shows, 8,000 interviews. We've traveled from Valparaiso to Versailles, Fort Wayne to Fort Branch, and everywhere in between. And we are just getting started. Our team is passionate about Indiana business because your story is worth telling. Join us every week as we travel the state to bring you Indiana's story. Inside Indiana Business, 25 years and counting.
A Rocheville woman has reached a consent agreement with the Indiana Secretary of State's office regarding allegations of securities fraud. IIB's Alex Brown has the story.
The agreement states that insurance agent Ashley Wyrick sold nearly $1.1 million worth of fraudulent securities to Indiana investors, while also not being licensed to sell securities. Wyrick is a licensed insurance agent who at one time sold insurance products as an independent contractor for Rossville-based Gangwer Insurance Agency, which also has an office in Rocheville. She used her affiliation with the company to then sell unregistered securities for the Woodbridge group of companies, the agreement said. Woodbridge operated a Ponzi scheme that bilked about 7,000 investors out of more than $1.2 billion. The company's CEO, Robert Shapiro, was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2019 after pleading guilty. According to the consent agreement, Wyrick sold the Woodbridge securities to 13 Indiana investors and received nearly $35,000 in commissions from Woodbridge. Wyrick has agreed to pay a total of nearly $22,500 in restitution to 6 of the victims. She is also permanently barred from selling securities in Indiana. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A Jefferson hospital where an employee recently tested positive for tuberculosis has notified hundreds of patients that they may have been exposed to the bacteria that causes the illness. Clark County's health officer said Clark Memorial Health had a significant exposure and has notified about 500 patients by letter that they were potentially exposed to TB at the hospital. The county health department and the Indiana Department of Health held clinics earlier this month to test people who received those letters. The county said no positive TB tests have been reported among any of the patients. The City of Gary and telecommunications development firm Digital Equity, LLC, broke ground Wednesday morning on an $8 million project designed to kickstart a multi-phase effort to create a tech community in Northwest Indiana. The Fiber Smart House will involve the rehabilitation of the historic Gary Union Station, which has sat abandoned for over 5 decades. When complete, the Fiber Smart House will serve as a technology workforce and educational training hub for residents, as well as a network operations center and fiber access point for large networks. Travis Brown, CEO of Mojo Up Marketing and Media, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Kate Sharon for Inside Indiana Business, Radio on Demand.